We know the story by now. It's been a frustrating few months at times for Newcastle fans. They missed out on Europe thanks to Manchester United's FA Cup win. There was a chaotic end to June as players were sold to avoid a PSR breach. Their summer spending is yet to take off over a surprisingly quiet July for the club. And instrumental figure, Newcastle co-owner Amanda Staveley, has left the club. But what if I told you that, despite all of that, there is a reason to be positive heading into the final 6 weeks of the transfer window and the new 2024 to 25 Premier League season? You see, while the headlines have been focused on the frustrations, Newcastle have been quietly cooking up a project that hardly anyone is noticing, a project that could send shockwaves through the league. The first piece of this exciting puzzle is that Newcastle United have made a top-quality appointment in Paul Mitchell as their new sporting director. Whether it's his impressive mix of Premier League and European experience, his expertise in recruitment, or his hugely encouraging first interview released by the club, it's clear that Newcastle are in safe hands with Paul Mitchell. The 42-year-old replaces Dan Ashworth, who left to take up the same role at Manchester United. Interestingly, Mitchell was actually Manchester United's first choice for the director role, but he refused to join them, so Newcastle have essentially landed an upgrade in the sporting director position. Mitchell's background is incredibly impressive. Following a spell as head of recruitment at Milton Keynes Dons, he joined Southampton in 2012 and played a key role in their promotion to the Premier League and worked with Mauricio Pochettino. He then followed Pochettino to Tottenham, helping the club sign top talents like Dele Alli, Kieran Trippier, Toby Alderweireld, and Son Heung-min. More recently, Mitchell has excelled in his roles at RB Leipzig and AS Monaco, showcasing his ability to identify and attract world-class talent. The fact that he was heavily linked to Manchester United throughout 2019 is a testament to his continued reputation and expertise in the game. Now, as Newcastle's new sporting director, Mitchell has the opportunity to transform the club. With the club's ambitious owners and resources, he can build a squad capable of challenging at the very top of the Premier League. Expect to see Newcastle making some exciting signings in the coming windows as Mitchell puts his stamp on the team. This is a statement appointment by Newcastle, and one that fills fans with immense optimism for the future. With Paul Mitchell at the helm of their recruitment and football operations, the sky is the limit for the Magpies. While the big money signings and high-profile arrivals at Newcastle have grabbed the headlines, there's an even more exciting story brewing behind the scenes: the club's reinvigorated youth recruitment strategy. For too long, Newcastle's academy has been neglected, but that's all changing now with a number of key appointments and a clear vision for developing the next generation of Magpies stars. Just this summer, the club has secured the signings of some of the country's brightest young talents. Players like Rory Finneran from Blackburn, Aaron Epia from Everton, CJ Afumuzo from Portsmouth, and Ezra Tikalemba from West Ham. And that's just the start, with more exciting additions on the way. What's really notable about Newcastle's approach is that they're not just looking to stock the academy with 21-year-olds who can compete at the top of the Premier League too. Instead, they're deliberately building a team of 16, 17, and 18-year-olds, giving these young stars the chance to learn and develop at an accelerated pace. As Steve Harper, the club's academy manager, recently said, the under-21 team will be 16, 17, and 18-year-olds. We could clog it with 21-year-olds and compete at the top, but we want to give these younger players the opportunities. This strategy is already bearing fruit, with the club attracting some of the best young talents in the country. Players like Trevan Sanusi, Alfie Harrison, and Leo Shahar have all joined Newcastle in recent windows, lured by the chance to fast-track their development. Of course, it's not all plain sailing. The young Magpies have already experienced some tough lessons, like the recent 7-1 thrashing at the hands of Chelsea's under-21 team. But first-team manager Eddie Howe agreed with Steve Harper that these setbacks are all part of the learning process, building resilience and character in the stars of tomorrow. And Eddie Howe himself remains 100% behind the project. So while the big money signings grab the headlines, keep a close eye on Newcastle's youth movement, because in the years to come, these young talents will be the ones leading the Magpies to glory. While Newcastle's exciting youth recruitment strategy is setting the club up for a bright future, the real news is how the Magpies have solidified their present-day squad, positioning themselves for success in the here and now. With the PSR deadline now passed, Newcastle have a bit more financial breathing room to maneuver in the transfer market, and they're wasting no time in making the most of it. Despite having to sacrifice a couple of their young stars, Yankuba Minte to Brighton and Hove Albion, and Elliot Anderson to Nottingham Forest, the Magpies have managed to hang on to their real crown jewels. When speaking to the local media this week, club CEO Darren Eales made it crystal clear. Bruno Guimaraes, Alexander Isak, and Callum Wilson are all going nowhere. Guimaraes' rumored £100 million release clause has even expired, a huge relief for the Toon army. Since joining the Magpies in January 2022, the Brazilian midfielder has been an absolute revelation on Tyneside. In just his first full season with the club, Guimaraes netted an impressive 7 goals, earning himself a well-deserved nomination for the Premier League Fans Team of the Season. But it's not just his goal-scoring exploits that make Guimaraes so crucial to Newcastle's success. The 25-year-old has become the very heartbeat of the Magpies' midfield, seamlessly orchestrating play and dictating the tempo of the game. In fact, Guimaraes has become such an integral part of the Newcastle team that he recently surpassed the 100-game mark for the club. Clubs like Manchester City and Arsenal were rumoured to be lurking, eager to pry Guimaraes away from the northeast. But Newcastle have managed to hold on to their prized asset, and that could be the difference in their quest for European glory. Guimaraes is the engine that makes this Newcastle side go. His boundless energy, silky skills, and unerring vision make him an absolute nightmare for opposing teams to handle. And with the Brazilian international now firmly entrenched in the heart of the Magpies midfield, the future looks incredibly bright. The Toon army have taken Guimaraes to their hearts, and rightly so. He's a player who embodies the club's spirit and ambition, always giving 101% for the famous black and white shirt. With Guimaraes pulling the strings, Newcastle's path to success seems clearer than ever. The fact that they've managed to retain his services is a huge boost, and it's a statement of intent that the Magpies mean business. In fact, there's even talk of Isak signing a lucrative new contract to cement his future at St. James's Park. The towering Swedish striker scored a remarkable 21 goals in just his second Premier League campaign last season, finishing as the third highest goal scorer in the entire league. And at just 24 years old, the best is surely yet to come. Isak's blistering pace, 6'4" frame, and all-around attacking prowess make him an absolute nightmare for Premier League defenders to handle. His expected goals tally of over 22 last season suggests he's getting into all the right areas. He just needs to continue refining that clinical edge to truly cement his place among the world's elite. What makes Isak so valuable, though, is how well-rounded his game is. Yes, he's a goal-scoring machine, but he also uses his physicality brilliantly to hold off defenders and bring his teammates into play. He's the complete modern-day centre-forward. When asked by the media whether Isak is already world-class, manager Eddie Howe didn't hesitate with his response. I think he is. I probably wouldn't be the best person qualified to give that opinion, but for me, the biggest thing is, would I swap him with anybody else? No, I wouldn't. High praise indeed from the Newcastle boss, and it's easy to see why. Isak's combination of youth, talent, and potential is truly special. With Isak set to stay on Tyneside, Newcastle can build their attack around him. To solidify Newcastle's present and future even more, Anthony Gordon, whom the Swede formed an excellent partnership with last season, is set to stay. A potential move for Anthony Gordon to Liverpool has seemingly fizzled out. The young English winger has set St. James's Park alight with his electrifying performances. But it's not just his on-field exploits that make Gordon so crucial to Newcastle's success. It's the fact that the club have managed to hold on to their prized asset, even as the Premier League's big hitters came circling. Starring for England's European Under-21 Championship side, he scored a couple of goals, recorded an assist, and was named Player of the Tournament, a testament to his incredible versatility and skill. Head coach Lee Carsley waxed lyrical about Gordon's flexibility and broad skill set, with the youngster essentially playing as a central striker during the competition. It's this kind of adaptability that makes Gordon the perfect fit for Newcastle manager Eddie Howe, who has made no secret of his appreciation for the physical side of the game. A bit tall, quick, deceptively strong, and tenacious in his work rate, the Everton Academy graduate ticks all the boxes. In fact, many Newcastle fans believe Gordon was their best player last season, with the winger already racking up an impressive 21 goal involvements, 11 goals and 10 assists in his first full campaign with the club. And with the Magpies now able to fend off interest from the likes of Liverpool, the future looks incredibly bright for both Gordon and Newcastle. But perhaps the most reassuring news of all is the commitment shown by manager Eddie Howe. After some much-needed clear-the-air talks following the club's pre-season training camp in Germany, Howe has received assurances about transfers and the new dynamic at the club. Howe was directly asked about the vacant England national team job during Newcastle's pre-season tour of Japan, but he was unequivocal in his response. I have had no contact whatsoever from anybody. I am fully committed to Newcastle. The message is clear. Howe is here to stay. And with the core of his squad also committed to the cause, Newcastle can now focus firmly on the task at hand. A big 2024-25 season where they'll be aiming to build on last year's success and push even higher up the Premier League table. The future is bright on Tyneside, but the present is looking pretty special too. So missing out on European football last season was a disappointment for the Magpies, but with the key appointment of a world-class expert in recruitment in Paul Mitchell, a new exciting youth academy recruitment strategy in place, Isak leading the line, Anthony Gordon down the wing, Bruno in midfield, together with the beast in Joelinton and the returning Sandro Tonali, together with the signing of Lloyd Kelly at the back, they'll be aiming to rectify that in the 2024-25 campaign, pushing Newcastle back into the upper echelons of the Premier League table in their quest to return to the Champions League and beyond. And if you would want to watch a captivating Newcastle United player documentary, click the video link on screen now.